At least if the brakes don't work now, the house will stop. Welcome back to Tempa Customs. I just got home from work and I've got an hour or so to work on Ruby before I've got to get inside and start editing, or you're not going to have an episode to watch last week. On this episode, what we're going to attempt to do here is try to get the transmission lines hooked to the transcooler. Right now I just have the transmission looped and that's not great, and I think I'm low on trans fluid anyway. It's kind of just a hack job currently, so if nothing else, if we can just get our fittings together tonight so that we know what we're going to need to finish assembling that system, that'd be fantastic. So we're going to go underneath, take off what we have at the transmission, and take off what we have on the radiator, and possibly go get some hardline, and yeah, that's the plan. Have you ever noticed that we say, "That's the plan" a lot? I say it all the time, and if you ever watch a lot of these car programs, most of them say it as well. It's because that's the plan in my head. Rarely does it ever go that way. Like, maybe 25% of the time does it actually go as the plan in my head says. 75% of the time it's off the rails and somewhere else, but that's why we say that's the plan, because we like to think that we have a little bit of control over what we're doing. We rarely ever do. So let's get underneath there. So this is what we're working with. This is, again, I'm sure I've mentioned before, this is a Turbo 400. I think this is some kind of a vacuum actuator. I do believe it's supposed to go up to manifold vacuum. These are for the Quadra-Track transfer case, which I need to be connected to something. They're not even connected to anything up there, just kind of floating. These are the lines we're going to be working on. I'm going to take them off from here and here, and then right now I just have them, well, it goes up here, and then comes over to here, and then loops back into itself, which is not ideal. And then over here, this comes out of the trans cooler, goes into this elbow, and oh, right there, it goes back into the trans cooler. So this literally is not doing anything, but that would make sense. But we're going to probably just take off this fitting here and use that part of that fitting. And this line looks okay, so I'm probably just going to remove this fitting and thread back into it. I have to see what's in. This has got to be a flare fitting, like a bubble fitting, or a bubble flare fitting if it's good. I don't know what it is other than leaking. But okay, so I should probably start here. I think this is going to leak when I undo it. I don't think we have any leaks in the oil pan though yet, which is good. And there looks really dry. I'm happy about that. Okay, anyway, besides the point, let's get back to what I'm doing. Okay, we'll start here, and we'll get this undone. There's really no good way for me to get you guys to see this, so it's kind of the best I can do. I'm going to pull that out of there. It's going to eventually drip. I'm sure it will. Nope. Yep. Nope. Oh, there it goes. Haha. We win. Why am I taking that out? That's a good window there. Oh. I will Teflon tape it now that I've cracked it free.
this is a flared fitting, we're good. If it's not, this whole thing looks like it leaks though, who knows? I'm gonna have to take all this apart. First piece off. Let's see what we have with this guy here. Bring hardline into this if we can. Different wrench. On this side. Easy enough. I need a piece of that. Now, let's go. I don't know if it matters which side flows in or out, honestly. I think it's gonna work either way. But let's put that there and this here just to remember, because I think the other sides are kind of set up to go to them. Okay, this is gonna make a mess now when I undo this other side. I'm gonna try to get a catch can up, not that it matters with the masses of oil spots in my driveway as it is, like we're sitting on one. But, you know, try to do what we can. There we go. But this is going to drip a bunch of trans fluid, like that. So the other one, do the same thing if we can. Fantastic. Aha! Did come free. Fantastic. There we go. Perfect. Now we double check that this fits both of these. Okay, so both of those threads are the same, which is good. I'm wondering if I can't just throw barb fittings there and there and run rubber line to the transcooler. I'm going to find out. That's what I'm going to attempt to do. Make it way easier for me. I think they make specific line for this stuff, so let's find out. On my way to Advance to see if they've got the barb fittings, not the barb fittings, the flare fittings, and some trans line. And I run into my newest and latest pet peeve. No one stops at stop signs anymore. I don't get it. It literally takes a second and a half to stop at a stop sign and then go. Everybody rolls stop signs. Today someone rolled a stop sign. I was actually at work on a scooter, and luckily I didn't leave my side sooner, because they rolled right through and I was getting ready to go. So just thought I'd share that. Just latest pet peeve. Just pulling back in to the house. We just spent about $70 in fittings and stuff that we'll go through tomorrow. Katie's home now from work, and I'm gonna go get some dinner. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna eat, but I'm gonna find something. And I'm gonna start editing for last week's video again. So that will be it for the night. I think I have everything I need to now assemble the trans lines up to the trans cooler, and hopefully they won't leak. But we'll find out tomorrow after I get home from work. So we'll see you tomorrow. Well, work is over, and we're back at it again today. I'll show you what we picked up yesterday from the parts store. So I got 10 feet of this line. This is transmission cooler line. So it does say it right on it, so I'm just assuming it'll work. Got 2 of these, which these I can thread into the transmission. And then the other side is thread into these mating couplers, so that will go tight under there like that. And then these will go like that. And then this will then go to my 3/8 line. And I got clamps to clamp everything. And then up front, I've got another one of these for that rubber hose I have, so this will fit there. And I got another fitting for the side of the other side of the cooler. So install this. We'll install this, and I think I've got some leftover trans fluid from the Nova, and we'll try to just top off our transmission and see if it feels any better. This is where our 2 fittings are going to go in here, and they got to come over to the frame right there. Can't turn you at all. Get everything. I don't think I can. Aha! Yeah, there we go. So we're going to use these fittings here and screw them in. Got one there and one here. And I'm going to try to put a nice bend into them to try to make this transition to this frame rail nicer. And then I'll follow the fuel line. What's that? Oh, that's square. Follow the fuel line down the frame rail, and then we'll kick over. But I'm just going to put a little bit of a bend in these just to give me a little bit more, just a cleaner look, I guess, a little bit. And I can't go too much. Honestly, do I even want to go at all? I don't know. The hose is going to bend pretty nicely, actually. If I go right there, I'm going to put a little bit of a bend in it. Just a smidge. I think once I put all my couplers and stuff on, it's going to be too long. When putting bends into these brake line, which is basically what this is, fuel lines or transmission line, I find this part of my knee makes a really nice radius. It doesn't tend to kink lines too much. Like that. I don't think we need much more than that. And hopefully my knee will feel okay tomorrow. But we'll check this and probably match the other one to it. Oh, we got this curve. Oh, that curve will definitely transition better to the frame. So I'm going to match the other one that I have. Actually, my hand out of the way. So I'm going to put a little bit of a curve, just hitting it that way. I'm going to match the other one to it and hook up our fittings. Okay, that's tight. We'll go get some transmission line, and we'll start running rubber line. Okay, that's one line. We're just gonna sit. We'll just zip tie it to here, and that will be sufficient. Use fuel injection clamps for high pressure. There we go. So the line I just hooked up at the transmission is, if I understand correctly, my high pressure side. It's the highest one coming out of the transmission is the high pressure, and then the return is on the low end of the transmission. So this is that line, and I'm thinking I want to run it to this fitting just because it's the furthest fitting away from the transmission. So it'll have to pump it to here, and then it'll return a shorter distance. I don't know if that makes a difference at all. In my brain it does. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get a fitting for here, and we'll just connect these two together, and then we'll put a fitting in there, a new fitting here, and then run it back the other direction. So hold on. These fittings have I think it's an inverted flare, I think that's what they call that, in there. And so the fittings I've got, like this guy here, have that there. So when you put that together, the inverted flare will seat against that, and it should make a liquid tight seal. Okay, that's tight there. Tight. Probably could have gone up one more size on these hose clamps, but they're fine. So when I get this done, I will have eliminated about 14 splices that was in this cooler line system. So we should be much better off. Let's support our fitting. All of these brass fittings are 3/8. Well, 3/8 hose. I think this is 1/4 inch NTP. Actually, on this part of it. Yeah. Okay. And we will run it back this way. We get a couple of zip ties to hold some of this stuff together so it doesn't go flying everywhere. Maybe we can try to organize it just a little bit. I can probably count on one hand, maybe two, the amount of times I've gone to a parts store and gotten everything I've needed. I used up everything I bought. I mean, bought a little extra line, but you always buy a little extra line. You don't want to be short by 6 inches. So I've got maybe 1.5 feet, about 2 feet of line left. So that's great. That's a great feeling to know that I bought everything I needed and we're good. So pop the hood here and check the trans fluid. Okay. Warm oil with, okay. Which we know. But try to get an idea of where we're at. We've got fluid in it, so we're over full, technically. So let's start it, and I know stuff's going to go into the trans cooler, and we can check for leaks. And hopefully we don't have really many leaks. Well, everything looks to be sealed and not leaking, which is amazing. Ah, see, now we're down. Now we're down to... Oh, there you go. Oh, come on, see it. Well, you can't see it, but I can see it. Here's the add a pint line. We're down here. So, we are a little low, and it's not warm yet. It might get worse as it gets a little lower, or a little warmer. It's gonna be time to... I don't see my valve cover leaking, which is fantastic. Yeah, I think we're just a little low on trans fluid. We'll see once it warms up. While we're waiting for it to warm up, the last leak I've got to work with is the rear pinion seal. It keeps dripping right here. So I ordered the new seal for it, and that will be the next video when I put the new rear pinion seal back there and make sure we've got good rear diff fluid. But that's the last main leak that I know of on here. That will be great. Well, to finish up this episode, we did what we started out to do. We replaced this old transcooler lines, and this is just one of them where I've got a splice, another splice, and another splice. And that's just in this one line. The other line was the same way. It just had less metal in it. It was more rubber with splices than metal with splices. So we completed it, and without much hassle, which was fantastic for once. So next couple episodes, we'll try to seal up the pinion seal, get the power steering hooked up and check power steering leaks. And then it might be time to actually drive Ruby down the road a couple times and see what the next things are. So I hope you will join me for those. So thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope everybody has a great week.